Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to give you the most dangerous truth no one tells you. Most people are not poor because of a lack of money. They are poor because of a lack of mindset. And if you walk away after 5 minutes, you'll miss the secret that could completely change your life. So listen carefully, not just with your ears, but with your hunger. Let's begin with this. Prosperity is not something you chase. It's something you build. It's not a lottery you win. It's not a blessing that magically falls into your lap. It is a structure brick by brick built with sweat, intention, pain, and persistence. You can scroll on your phone all day for quick hacks, or you can sit with this truth. Your future is a mirror of your habits. So ask yourself, what are you doing daily that's secretly building your poverty instead of your prosperity? I'll tell you what the real rich know. Not just the ones with big bank accounts, but the ones with peace, freedom, and joy. They know this. The price for a rich life is high. It costs you comfort, ego, and excuses. But the price for a poor life, that's regret. And regret is the heaviest burden a human can carry. People want prosperity, but they fear pain. Yet I've never met a single person who reached the top without getting kicked in the face by life. Prosperity doesn't grow in soft soil. It grows in the hard places where you fall and rise and fall again. So what's the real secret? It's the people you keep, the thoughts you feed, and the actions you repeat. Your environment, your circle, your routine, your diet, your inputs will either elevate you or infect you. And that's the hard truth nobody wants to admit. Your friends might be the reason you're still broke. Prosperity comes when you stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, what can I give? Because here's the twist. Money follows value, not effort, not time, not even talent. And if you focus on giving insane value, if you serve without begging for recognition, the world will eventually reward you with more than you imagined. I know what you're thinking, but what if it takes too long? Let me answer that with another question. What if it works? What if this time you finally stayed consistent? What if this time you didn't quit at the first obstacle? Let others chase trends. You build your foundation. Let them talk. You act. Let them scroll. You learn. The secret to a prosperous life is simple. Plant deep, grow slow, rise strong. And remember, my friend, fast success makes noise, but lasting prosperity moves in silence. Keep watching. Because in the next moments, I'll show you how to design your habits, choose your circle, and build a life that pays you in wealth, peace, and purpose. And once you taste this kind of prosperity, you will never settle for survival again. Prosperity is not a destination, it's a daily decision. That idea might sound simple, but it's one of the most misunderstood truths in the world. People think prosperity is something that comes later. After the promotion, after the perfect business idea, after some magical opportunity shows up. They wait for it like a bus that's running late. But here's the reality. Prosperity doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who build. Every single day, whether you realize it or not, you are making decisions that either build your future or delay it. Prosperity begins with how you think, how you speak, how you act, and most importantly, how consistent you are. Look around you. Everything you have or don't have today is a reflection of the tiny choices you made yesterday, last month, last year. Those choices may not seem big in the moment, pressing snooze one more time, putting off that call, skipping that 1 hour of learning, but stacked over time, they either make you rich in purpose, peace, and progress, or bankrupt in regret. Most people confuse movement with progress. They're busy, yes, but busy doing what? Prosperity is built when your energy is focused, not scattered. It's a decision to say, I will not spend another day building someone else's dream and ignoring my own. But you can't just say it once. You have to choose it every morning, especially when it's hard, especially when no one claps for you, especially when there's no immediate reward. That's what makes prosperity so rare. Because the path is long and most people get tired. But the secret is you don't need massive wins every day. You need consistent, intentional steps. One disciplined hour a day, repeated over a year, will outwork the person who hustles hard for 2 weeks and burns out. And let me say this clearly, prosperity is not just about money. It's about options. It's about waking up and not being trapped. It's about having the power to say no, to walk away, to choose your time. That's real wealth. That kind of life doesn't happen by accident. It's created on purpose by people who stopped making excuses and started making decisions. So today, ask yourself, what decision did I make today to invest in my prosperity? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. If you can't answer that question, you've already chosen to delay your dream. But the beautiful part, you can reset right now. Decide again. No matter how many times you failed before, your next choice can change your direction. Make the decision to commit not for one day, but for the long run. Not for motivation, but for meaning. Because prosperity isn't a treasure at the end of a rainbow. It's the reward for the people who decided every single day not to quit. Pain is the tuition fee for a prosperous future. Everyone wants success, wealth, and freedom, but very few are willing to pay the real price. And that price is pain. Not the pain of tragedy, but the pain of growth, the pain of discipline, the sting of failure, the discomfort of sacrifice. It's easy to dream big when everything is going well. But real prosperity doesn't grow in perfect conditions. It grows in storms. It's shaped by the days when nothing works and you keep showing up anyway. We're conditioned to avoid pain. Society teaches us to stay comfortable, stay safe, stay average. But comfort is a trap. It whispers to you, you're doing enough, when deep down you know you're playing small. The most successful people in the world didn't escape pain, they embraced it. They used it. When they failed, they didn't fold, they studied the fall. They didn't ask, why me? They asked, what's the lesson here? Pain introduces you to your real self. It strips away your excuses and shows you what you're truly made of. When you're under pressure, when the plan fails, when the support disappears, that's when your true strength reveals itself. And the truth is, you are much stronger than you think, but that strength only shows up when you're forced to stretch beyond what's easy. Think about it. The gym doesn't make you stronger because it's comfortable. It makes you stronger because it forces you to push against resistance. Life is the same. Every obstacle, every rejection, every lonely night is resistance. And if you keep pushing, if you don't run from it, you grow stronger. Not just in skill, but in resilience, in mindset, in clarity. Do you want a prosperous life? Then stop running from struggle. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is the one where you stand back up after life knocks you down. That's when you plant the seeds of greatness. Every painful experience carries a gift, but only if you stay long enough to unwrap it. People who prosper are not lucky. They're forged in fire. They've been doubted, laughed at, rejected, and misunderstood, but they kept moving. They let pain refine them, not define them. And that's what sets them apart. Your greatest transformation won't come from winning. It will come from losing and learning how to rise again. If you want to live a life of freedom, impact, and legacy, don't wish for things to be easier. Wish for the courage to endure the hard things. That's where prosperity is built. Not in comfort, but in the chaos you survived, the heartbreaks you healed from, the storms you walked through alone. So the next time life gets hard and don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this preparing me for? Because every moment of pain is not punishment. It's preparation. And it's preparing you for a life bigger than you ever imagined. You cannot plant seeds of prosperity in toxic soil. That truth is as real in life as it is in nature. You can have the greatest idea, the strongest work ethic, the biggest dreams, but if you're in the wrong environment, all of it withers. Your environment is more powerful than your intentions, and most people don't realize how silently it shapes their destiny. You become the average of what surrounds you, not just the people, but the conversations, the energy, the beliefs, the habits, and even the noise. Look closely. Who are you listening to every day? Are you surrounded by people who stretch your thinking, who challenge you to grow, who remind you what's possible? Or are you stuck in circles of gossip, fear, and mediocrity, people who drain you, doubt you, and distract you? Because the truth is, you cannot keep feeding your vision with negativity and expect it to grow. Prosperity doesn't grow in poisonous soil. It needs light, nourishment, and space. And sometimes the most powerful move you can make toward your future is to walk away from the past, especially when that past lives in the people closest to you. You don't owe anyone your future. You don't owe anyone your potential. If the people around you are always comfortable with your excuses, if they cheer for your comfort instead of your courage, that's not love, that's limitation. And you will never build a life of greatness in a space that rewards average. Be bold enough to clean your environment. Be courageous enough to choose silence over noise, growth over comfort, truth over approval. And it's not just about people. What are you consuming every day? What do you scroll, listen to, watch, and think about when no one's watching? Because your inputs shape your outcomes. You can't flood your mind with junk and expect clarity. You can't fill your space with chaos and expect peace. What you feed yourself today becomes your mindset tomorrow. You see, most people want to change their life without changing their world. But it doesn't work like that. You must be intentional about where you spend your time, who gets access to your energy, and what you allow to take root in your mind. Your environment should match your vision, not your past. If your dream is big, your environment must be bigger. It must challenge you to rise, to think, to believe differently. And here's the twist. Once you change your environment starts changing you. You speak differently. You walk with more certainty. You stop explaining your dreams and start executing them. That's the power of the right soil. It doesn't just grow your prosperity, it transforms your identity. So protect your space like your life depends on it, because it does. Prosperity is not just what you do. It's where you do it, how you do it, and most of all, who you become in the process. And if the ground beneath you is weak, nothing you build will stand. Master the long game while everyone chases the shortcut. In today's world, everyone wants everything fast. Fast money, fast fame, fast results. But what they don't realize is that anything gained too quickly is often lost even faster. The truth is, prosperity that lasts is never built overnight. It's built brick by brick, step by step, in the quiet hours when no one is watching and nothing seems to be happening. That's the game most people don't have the patience to play. They chase trends. They hop from idea to idea. One day they want to start a business. The next they're trying to go viral. They confuse movement with progress. But there's a difference between being busy and being committed. Real prosperity is not flashy. It's not exciting every day. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's repetitive. But those who master the long game understand something the crowd never does. Consistency beats intensity every single time. You don't need to make a big move every day. You need to make a small move every day without fail. You don't need to impress the world with your hustle. You need to stay focused when no one claps. It's not about how loud your journey is. It's about how solid your foundation becomes. And foundations are built in silence, over time, under pressure. The problem is, shortcuts feel good in the short term. They give you a quick win, a little dopamine, a moment of praise. But then what? You're empty again, chasing the next high, the next trick, the next easy way. That cycle never ends, and it never leads to real success. The long game is different. It demands discipline. It demands that you stay loyal to your vision, even when the results don't come right away. It demands that you work without applause, that you show up when no one believes, that you stay in motion when others quit. That's the price. But here's the reward. While the shortcut takers burn out, you build something unshakable, something that lasts. Look at any great builder, creator, or leader. None of them got there in one leap. They endured seasons of obscurity. They did the work no one saw. They made sacrifices no one applauded. And because they stayed consistent, when their time came, they were ready. The world calls it overnight success, but they know it took years of hidden discipline. So stop looking sideways. Stop comparing your timeline with someone else's highlight reel. The long game is lonely sometimes, but it leads to freedom. The shortcut is crowded, but it rarely leads anywhere worth going. Build slow. Build strong. And trust the process. Because when you do it right, you won't just reach prosperity, you'll be able to hold on to it. Don't get distracted by noise. The real work is quiet. The real growth is invisible. But the reward, it will speak so loud one day that silence will no longer be an option. That is the power of mastering the long game. Serve before you take prosperity as a result, not a reward. Most people approach life with a taking mindset. They ask, what's in it for me? Before they lift a finger, they walk into rooms wondering what they can extract, what advantage they can gain, what benefit they can receive. But true prosperity does not flow toward takers. It flows toward creators, givers, builders, those who contribute value without demanding anything in return. Because real wealth is attracted, not chased. This is a law of nature. Value always finds its way back to the source. If you pour value into others, if you solve problems, ease burdens, offer solutions, your rewards will come and they will multiply. But if you only show up when there's something for you, the world will see through it. People sense intention. They know when you care and when you're just pretending. And trust me, no one wants to follow, buy from, or support someone who is clearly in it only for themselves. Prosperity isn't a transaction. It's a reputation. It's built slowly through acts of service, through trust, through reliability. The people who win in life are those who give more than they're paid for. They over-deliver not because someone is watching, but because it's who they are. And over time, that energy comes back in ways money alone could never buy. Opportunities find them. Relationships strengthen. Doors open that money couldn't unlock. But giving doesn't mean being naive. It means being strategic with your generosity. It means knowing that every time you plant a seed of service, you're investing in a future harvest. You might not see the results today, but prosperity has a way of circling back often when you least expect it, and usually in a form you didn't predict. People misunderstand this principle. They think, if I give and give and give, what if I never receive? But that's a scarcity mindset talking. The prosperous person knows the giving itself is the reward. Because every time you serve, you grow. You sharpen your skill. You expand your capacity. You strengthen your spirit. And in that process, you become someone who can handle prosperity when it finally arrives. This world is full of people who want the throne without the service. But true leaders rise because they lifted others first. They didn't demand a crown, they earned it through contribution. And that's why their success lasts. Because it was never about ego, it was about impact. So ask yourself today, how can I serve at a higher level? Whether it's your customers, your team, your community, or even your own family, pour into them without always looking for a return. That's the mindset shift that unlocks abundance.